Everyone, this is Edna again, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're going to switch gears a little bit from the health talk to immigration. And this video is really to help those nurses that are outside the US to get into the US and work in the US. So I'm going to give you some tips and process on how to get your immigration processes to get into the US and work as a nurse in the US. So if this video is helpful to you, please push the like button. If you think this video is going to help somebody, please send it to them so that they can watch it, and make sure you subscribe so you can be informed if we post any videos about immigration or any other topics of interest to you. And so we are going today to talk about H-1B visa. This is what we call working visa. This is where you have a job that is highly demanded in the US, and you process your visa to come and work here. And I am going to focus today on nursing because I was a nurse. I'm really more familiar with nursing and the process of getting here as a nurse to work in the US. So, first of all, if you are a foreign nurse, you need to have met the basic requirements, meaning you need to have graduated from an accredited school. This is usually government school that is accredited nationally. You need to be able to have a license in your country, so be practicing as a nurse. You have to have been practicing as a nurse in your country for at least 2 years. And then for some countries that are non-speaking English countries, you will need to have an English proficiency exam to prove that you've done an English proficiency exam. And this is just really important because down the line, you're going to be doing international exam for nursing, and it's all in English. So they want to make sure you're able to read English proficiently. So the biggest thing, once you have all the basic requirements that I've just mentioned, you have graduated from an accredited school, you've been practicing as a nurse for more than 2 years, and you have meaning you have a license and I've been practicing for 2 years, and you have English proficiency proven, then you need to start looking into applying for licensure. The process of applying for a license in the US, you'll start by sending all your transcripts or a professional accreditation to an organization called Commission on Global Foreign Nursing School, CGFNS.org. You Google that, CGFNS.org, and then when you get into that website, it's gonna have you create an account. After you've created an account, you're going to upload your transcripts, your certifications, and any experiences, work employment that you've had. There's a form, step-by-step form that you can fill out in the website, so make sure you do that. After you have uploaded all your documents, then they will go through your documents. It takes a little bit of a process to do that. After they've gone through all your documents and they've made sure it's authentic, so it has to be all original stuff. You cannot fake these documents because they will verify it with certifying organizations. Once they are verified that all the documents meet their requirements, they will require you to do an exam. So you can register for the exam through cgfns.org. There's an examination, international examination you have to do. You have to pass that examination before you can apply for NCLEX, which is the nursing board examination in the US. All right, so that is the biggest thing. You have to have able to pass the examination, which is an evaluation examination, to see that your skills are up to par, and you have a knowledge base to be able to do your NCLEX. So you go through cgfns.org, you upload your documents, and then after that you do the evaluation examination. After that, then you will be qualified to do the NCLEX board. So for NCLEX, usually they will, of course, take the documents from the CGFNS organization where they've already evaluated your documents. You'll send them to the whatever board of nursing school. So you have to choose. United States, you have 50 states. So you'll choose what states you want to practice, because every state is different. There's what they call compact states, where you have multiple states that you can practice with a single license. That means you can be licensed in Arizona, and for instance, and be able to practice in Iowa for a period of time. You can practice in Kansas. You can practice in some states. Some states are only that state, meaning if you apply, let's say Minnesota, as only Minnesota license. If you apply to Minnesota license, you can only practice in Arizona, in Minnesota. So just make sure you go to the board of nursing and see if it's a compact state. I would recommend highly going to a state that is a compact state, so that in case you don't have a job in that state, then you can be able to go to a different state and apply for a job there. So you will need to pass your NCLEX exam. This is a computer-based exam where you register. They'll take all your transcripts. You'll do a registration. They'll set a date for you. It's a privatized exam. So I think it's about 365 questions, and you have to pass that exam. You don't take all the questions. It's more of a weighing scale. Minimum exam you can take for that. In that exam, the minimum questions you can get, if you're doing very well, is 75. Maximum is 365. I will tell you, for people that English is your second language, it takes a while for us to read paragraphs and to read through exams. So if you're going to do all the 300 plus questions, there's chances are you're not going to be able to finish the exam, because the exam is timed. I think you have, I want to say 3 to 4 hours to do the exam. You need to go to the board of nursing and check that out. You're given a time frame on when to finish the exam. And if you have 300 questions, chances are you're not going to be able to, the way we read so slow, if you're not a fast English speaker, if you weren't raised in the UK or the US, so we tend to read a little slower because we process things a little. It's just English being your second language. You might not be able to finish all the exams. So the goal is to do the minimum number of questions, get at least 75, 80, 100, whatever you can get, highest score, so that the exam can shut off and you can get your certification. So very important, you have to pass the NCLEX to be able to apply for any jobs in the US. There's no shortcut on that. If you don't pass the exam, you cannot apply for, you cannot get a license, and you cannot work in the States. You have multiple tries. You can try that exam multiple times, but I think you have 90 days between when you register for the exam and when you retake it. And you can only take it so many times in a year, so just keep that in mind. Make sure you read the regulations on that. Study for the exam prior to. There are so many online books that you can read. There are review courses you can take. And there are books you can buy and read before the exam. Don't just go in and do the exam. There's just, some of them are very critical thinking type of questions that you need to know the content to be able to apply to the question. So make sure you do actually read and study before you go take the exam. And then once you pass the NCLEX exam, now you're free to find a job in any of the states, preferably in the states that you applied your licensure in. So if, for instance, you want to go to Iowa, try to do NCLEX and apply for licensure in Iowa. There's a fee for every time you retake the exam. There's a fee for every time you apply for licensure. So keep that in mind, that you're going to be paying a lot of fees along the way. So make sure you just kind of set up your mind on what state you want to go to. And then once you set your mind on that, try to find jobs on that. Or you can actually look online. I would highly recommend, before you actually decide what state you go into that particular state, and just Google in nursing jobs in Arizona, nursing jobs in Iowa, nursing jobs in Kansas, whatever state you plan to. If you have loved ones somewhere in the United States and you have a specific state you want to go into, make sure you Google that state, because you'll find that some states have a lot of nursing programs that are in that particular state, and they don't have any shortage in nursing. So chances are of them importing nurses internationally from other countries is going to be very slim to none. So you need to look at states that are hurting for nurses, meaning they need nurses. They don't have enough nurses for those. There's a nursing shortage in that state. Apply for licenses in those states. It's going to highly benefit you. It's going to give you a higher chance of being hired, because you have to find a job, and that job is going to apply for your H-1B visa. So you cannot get an H-1B visa without a job in place, meaning you have to have a job offer, and that job offer has to be willing to apply for your visa. So, because it's a job sponsored visa, you cannot sponsor yourself. So, very important, look for states that are short of nursing, apply for that state's licensure, use that licensure to seek for jobs, and have that job apply for your H-1B visa. Until then, hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you know somebody that is a nurse internationally and they are wanting to come and work in the US, make sure you send them this video so that they can watch it. Put comments if you want me to give you specific information on like the NCLEX website. If you want me to give you a specific organization on the CGFNS organization, it's just that, cgfns.org. If you type that in any Google search, it should give you all the information you need to know. Until then, till next video, hopefully you learned something from this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe so that we can be able to give you more information on how to improve your life and how to immigrate to the US or any other country. I will be talking about immigrating to the UK as a nurse in my next video. So if you're interested in the UK or Australia, look for more videos on that topics. Until then, God bless you and you take care.